and Trainergate continues. The controversy rolls on. Well, we already know what Gordy thought of it. What was your take?
Thought it was a disgrace. As soon as it happened, Andrew Voss has gone off his tree about it. He nailed it in the moment. It was disheartening. The Titans had put in a wonderful performance and you could just see it slip away in front of them. It's unacceptable if he didn't do it intentionally. It was stupidity of the highest order. Anyone that runs the water from under 8s up knows that you can't run in front of the kicker.
I agree. I don't know why we've got to put the word gate at the end of every scandal that happens in rugby league these days, but we seem to. I think the fact that it's happened with Penrith trainers so many times, 6 times since 2021. The other thing I can't really cop is the line that he didn't know, that he was lining up a goal. Well, why was he seeing why did he think the blokes are huddled at the in the in goal, just like having a mothers club meeting?
There's not a person on the field. Like Reedy's sitting here last night talking about all the confusion that was out there. There's not a person on the field, bar the goal kicker.
Well, the reason it revved up overnight was, a lot of it had to do with this. Bulldogs GM of footy, Phil Gould, has blasted the punishment handed down. Let's have a look at what he had to say. I think it's the greatest beat-up I've ever seen in rugby league. This is a perfect example that officialdom can be influenced by social media. If he's not putting water on the ball, he's not doing his job.
If he's not cheating, he's not doing his job, basically. That's a familiar Gus line. He likes to say that the NRL always reacts to what the media and social media are doing. I don't buy that at all in this instance. As you said, the commentators, I was watching it live too, thinking, what the hell is this guy doing?
Well, ex-players had a say.
Yeah.
And then the Titans wouldn't have liked it.
Michael Ennis brought it up straight away in the commentary.
Michael Ennis and Andrew Voss and then Jaden Campbell's reaction is the best.
It didn't cost them the game.
No, it didn't.
But it certainly
I never
didn't.
said it did.
No, I get that. But a lot of people making that argument, and it didn't cost them the game, but it certainly didn't help.
But it's a fair argument, though, because that makes it a 4-point lead. And then when Nathan gets the field goal, it doesn't matter. The Titans are still ahead.
But they did score a try to win. Well, maybe they don't go for that.
But that's in Golden Point.
Yeah.
Like the argument that it did cost him. Well, it's a legitimate argument.
I respect Gus so much, but sometimes his comments they spin me out. I just don't get it. Like Andrew Voss, he's been calling rugby league games now
since the 1980s, I think.
Forever. And his reaction to it at the time, he'd never seen it. And we all know what Vossi's like. He's a great caller, arguably the best in here. He was shocked.
Yeah.
Michael Ennis, he was right next to him. He was shocked. They couldn't believe what was happening. To blame it on social media in reaction to fans.
Yeah, and basically said along the lines that no one from rugby league had even cared about it at that time, when in actual fact, the moment it happened, there was instant outrage.
Well, I wonder if he would have cared about it if it was the Bulldogs missing out on a final spot because of it.
That's the hypocrisy of what he says, though.
And is it appropriate for a club official to be saying that the trainers should cheat, like put water on the ball?
He said far worse. He said far worse on that show. Look, that's Gus. I think Gus likes a bit of rage bait. He likes to dangle out controversial lines and we all react to it. And I think Gus gets off on that, to be honest. But I find it's interesting in the sense that Penrith, I've been a big supporter of Penrith. I don't like the suggestion. I don't like the suggestion that their players are arrogant. But there is certainly, they do things, they push the envelope like all the great teams do to get an advantage, and they've got form, and that's why when they say, it was purely accidental, that's why people go, I've got my suspicions whether that's the case.
You know what though? There was a period in Ivan's early years there where the Panthers did play with that arrogance, Webby. I don't think there's any doubt in the world. There was that line in the sand where they thought, we're sick of getting bullied, we'll be the bullies.
Sure.
I think it's changed. In the last 2 years, I think there's been a clear change in their attitude, but there hasn't been a change amongst their trainers. Like you said, 6 incidents since 2021 that we know about.
Is the fine enough?
I think the punishment was actually. I think the punishment and the matches was fine.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't go lighter, Gordy. If it went heavier against the trainer, if he was gone for the entire season forever, it wouldn't have bothered me one bit.
I didn't like when the trainers used to run on when I was playing, but I was lucky I had Craig Bellamy, I had Gary Belcher, then right at the end I had Kevy Walters. I had some really good experience, but I hated the messages always come on. Now that I'm retired, I don't like seeing trainers on. My little son plays under sixes. They're on more than his coach. No, but like
I know, Alf's in the back
there's no
line. That's
fatigue,
hilarious.
mate. Like there's no fatigue. A minute they run up with the water bottle. So are we watching under eights or are we watching NRL? Can we just get the trainers off? Like.
NRL CEO Andrew Abdo has responded to Gould's comments, dismissing the claim that the punishment was driven by social media and fan backlash. Take a listen.
I think it's important to note that there have been 6 separate incidences involving Penrith Panthers trainers since 2021. So whilst we treat every incident on its own merits, taking into account the fact that there have been several indiscretions by trainers from that club, it was important for us to take the action that we've taken. There's a simple rule, and that rule has been broken. Whether it was by accident or not, it's a breach, and they obviously have an opportunity to respond. I can say categorically that this is not a reaction to the public or to social media. This is an application of the rules, something on which we discussed and debated quite vigorously real time over the weekend.
The NRL confirming Panthers trainers have had 6 indiscretions since 2021. So they've got some form, don't they?
I do. I think Andrew deserves to be congratulated. I think it's good, strong leadership.
Yeah, well, it's 6 we know about, Bray. Because we're about to get to the 7th that isn't even counted as the 7th.
Well, do you want to go through the 7?
Yeah. Well, so this was reported by the Sydney Morning Herald today. So in the minutes after old mate's run across in front of Jaden Campbell and done that.
Old mate.
In the minutes after, or
Here
Corey
he's
There he
Boston.
is. He's the other old
This
mate.
is Shane Elford out on the field, the Panthers trainer. So the rule for the blue shirt, as the Herald reported today, the rule for the blue shirt is that they're allowed on any time there's a stoppage in play and 3 times during the game to deliver messages, or in a half to deliver messages.
This is
but they've
tackle
got to
4.
be off by tackle 4. And he stayed on for every tackle and stayed on for tackle 5 as Nathan's lined up for the field goal, and he's finally got to the sideline
Have a look at him
right
coaching
at the end, and he hasn't stopped giving his messages the whole way. And so this is minutes after this. You know what this is? This is an up yours, a stuff you to the NRL rules. They couldn't care less what the rules are.
It's one of these to the NRL. That's what it is.
Yes, well, it is. We're be honest to God, mate.
What is it? Well said.
Because last night I got it wrong. I just wanted to
I'm
clarify
aware.
that. Anyway, carry on.
No, I'm just saying that's what it is. Like, it's an up yours to the NRL rules. And so the NRL's response to this is that it's up to the ground manager
But why
to
they-
enforce this.
this is my
But if
point.
the ground
Why they-
manager misses it, bloody enforce it afterwards.
But why are they on the field? Why is he on the field?
He shouldn't have been at that moment, mate. But this is a game.
let's just make the
it
rules,
shows
okay, because
the
they're-
arrogance of their trainers at the
They're
moment.
going to run on unless we change the rules and say you're not allowed on unless someone's injured.
Of course,
Or-
don't you reckon that you can identify moments like that numerous times in a game?
You could.
Every
You,
game.
you probably could,
probably
Webby, but the fact that they're out of control,
Sure, they've
right,
done
it
it
probably
straight after,
does
I get
happen
it.
in other games. It probably does.
You can see
but
here,
it shouldn't.
Just
No,
calls,
you're right.
And you can see here, Shane is trying to set them up for this field goal. Watch him point back to the 40-metre line here. You'll see it just now. He's trying to get him, position him down right there. So he's trying to get. Like, Nathan Cleary doesn't need Shane Elford to tell him.
underrated stuff,
He doesn't
isn't it?
need it. He doesn't need it. So it's unnecessary. I think they're just overplaying it too much. But it's not so much the Panthers' fault, I don't believe. I think it's more the NRL's. Like even their reaction today to it. It's obviously happening in other games. So we've got to be careful of how critical we are of Penrith right here. But
Well, most clubs would do it. All of them would do it.
Yeah, I know, but
So let's just change the
Yeah,
rules.
but the trainer going in front of you don't see that every game.
No.
That's next level.
But what's the
disruption.
use of
They're
having
just,
Gordon?
they're
Gordon
just better at it. It's like when everybody was whinging about the wrestling. Melbourne were just better at it.